before my time in different areas, because we all have different areas that we're called to work in, and we can't work in all of them. We have to know where we're most suited and serve in that capacity. And then to my younger people, or maybe even older people who are not actively serving in the community, there will be something that inspires you. So I'm a teacher at heart, so I use acronyms oftentimes to convey whatever the lesson is. So we take activism, and we have a word for each, but I'm going to, because of the time frame, I'm going to just do the first 3 letters. We're going to take ACT, and I'm going to share with you what we share with our youth who are in our Youth Empowered to have social justice and service in our program. And our A starts with understanding that we all need an awareness. We all need an awareness of what's going on around us and in our communities. How else can we impact change if we don't know what's going on? I talk to people all the time who say, I don't watch the news, I don't listen to the radio, I don't read the newspaper. Well, we have to find a trusted source so that we will know what is going on, so that we will be aware of what's happening, and we will know how we can actively enhance our communities. We also have to settle on the action that we want to make. So for all of my people in here who are 17 and under, is there somebody who would like to share one thing that they feel goes on in their communities that they wish they could see changed? Just one thing. Anybody want to share? You don't have to. 17 or under. Josh, you have one thing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Stay right there. What do you want to see change? Never mind. You want to think about it? You take.
There's still some racism that still goes around.
Okay.
Need to change that.
Racism. We'll stick right there. That's good. So that is my son. He was. I had to advocate for him. He was born with a speech and language disorder that was a result of our traumatic experience, and so they wanted to do things in school that I wasn't standing for. That was another reason I was so committed to education. I was at every IEP meeting, and I said, oh no, this is not what you would do, but this is what you will try. And then I ensured that I was placed in the schools where my sons went so that I could pop in to the classrooms and say, oh, you will, one thing you won't do is get rid of me. I'm here to stay, and you will see my face. So racism, that's
my babies.
What I did, yes, I did. They were such good kids. So being aware that racism exists. And so as a young person, of course, that's a broad topic, but as a seasoned person, that's a broad topic. But thinking about one action that we can take to minimize the impact of racism, even if it's just talking to your peers, or even if it's just the homeschool world has introduced me to a lot of non-melanated individuals that I probably would not have come into contact with had I not been a homeschool mom. And I have been able to, I have gotten kicked out of co-ops. I have gotten kicked out of prayer groups because, you know, because they were like, this girl is too radical, but it's not about radical. It's because you're not aware and you're not ready to be aware. But at least I'm going to leave you with this thought so that at some point, so choosing the action and the activity you want to focus on. So maybe let's talk about some of the activities we can focus on. So I know a lot of you didn't say anything as younger people, and I understand being put on the spot and asked to stand up is a huge ask. But from what I know from the children that we serve, there are issues with poverty in some of our communities. There's the huge issue of gun violence in our communities. There is the huge issue, I talk to young ladies all the time, with colorism. And especially for my younger people who are here, not understanding what colorism is. Does everybody, let me ask that question. If you're 17 and under, do you know what colorism is? You can just say yes or no. Yes. You want to tell me what it is? Tell me.
It's when somebody is being made because of the skin color that she has.
Absolutely. Thank you, my young sister. Very good, very good. So even if it's colorism, so I am, as you can see, I'm a light complexion young lady, and my daughter, who is 30, is a darker brown. And all my life, as I was mothering her, I would go places, and people would insult me, and people would say, "That can't be your child." Literally, people would assume she was not my daughter, and she looks like me based on the color of our skin, and that's a real issue in our communities. Yes, sir.
I think it's important to specify the definition. It's particular to dark-skinned people and not the other way around.
So, yes.
I need
Okay.
people to understand
Okay.
that
Okay.
it's wildly important that the other way around does not
Yes.
exist. It's not a definition. It does not match the definition
Right.
of colorism.
Absolutely, absolutely. So and I do agree that it should. So, but is everyone clear on that? Because yes, sister.
I'm sorry. I'm just
No, don't be sorry.
I'm going to disagree just a little bit.
Okay.
I have over 25 years in the child welfare field, and I know light-skinned girls get all kinds of, yes, ma'am, because they're not black enough. Absolutely. You know, so I'm not sure about boys because I spend most of my time with girls, but I shouldn't say that because I just had a fair-skinned son.
Right. Okay.
Who was treated the very same way.
Right.
And I think that, you know, we cannot draw that line between our children. Because if we don't hold the line for them, light or dark, who will? Who will?
That's good.
So
Thank
on
you.
both sides.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Hold on. I love interaction. I really do, because I get value from hearing what you all are saying also. So the point that you brought up has been an open debate across the tables, and it has looked just like that. So from our darker complexion women, many of them feeling like the colorism is primarily focused on them, but women who look like myself being able to say that we have had similar issues. Now, in talking to a daughter and raising a child, I can say for her, some of her issues have been at some points more complex than some that I've faced, but I don't believe that it completely eliminates either.
Right.
Either. So, but can I safely move on to the next thing? So, I want to safely move on. Taran, did you want to share something, son?
Yes. A topic like that modern society really does face as kind of like gun violence, like all sorts of evil, is like mental issues. And one, I don't really believe in like evil is just born just because we're born. Like darkness takes time to grow and have time to abuse your parents, like traumatic responses, like half the time people always just see bad people, just bad people. Like there's a lot more layers to it than just, oh, this guy's bad, this lady's good. Like no, it's like have you ever looked at someone and realized that sometimes they might need some help? Like a lot of people just say because it's already being down like horribly because of the few bad things. It's like there's people just like responding to all the traumatic response, and like a lot of people see it as just a simple thing, but it just it's just a character and story. There's supposed to be layers to it. You can't just see it just one simple thing and just expect all the good things to happen out of it because like it bites you really hard sometimes if you don't really take the full knowledge of it, pay attention to it.
That's good. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So you should know that that's my other son. So thank you for sharing that. Wait. Oh, go ahead. So that was good. So mental health also being an area. So if we were to just choose one of those things, and there are many others, but if we were to just take one issue that really concerns us, like when I go to school every day, this is the one thing that really bothers me. Maybe it's bullying. And then determining as a younger person, what's one thing I can do to make a difference? What's the one thing? I see this kid every day, he gets joked because his sneakers are not name brand, or because his clothes don't fit well, or maybe he doesn't smell well. What's one thing I can do? And that falls under the A. There's the awareness, there is the action that I want to take, and there is the activity, which is what I'm going to actually do. Maybe you go home and you say, Mom, can we talk to his mom and buy him a new outfit? You know, that's something that you would think about and think through. But having the awareness that things go on. And we are in a society a lot of times where we are closing our eyes and we're laser focused on certain things because that's safe. If I don't observe what's going on around me, I don't have to say anything. So that means I don't have to have a target on my back. I don't have to be the one standing and debating and arguing, but it's not safe any longer for us to operate that way. So that's the A. The C in ACT is understanding that it takes courage. Like for the young lady who spoke and my two gentlemen who are younger in the room to stand up and speak before a crowd of people who you don't know, you've never met before, you're not familiar with. So does the act of advocacy and activism. It takes courage. And I do believe you can be taught to be courageous. I also believe that in some of us it's just instilled and it's just natural because that's what we came from and that's what we witnessed, and those are the people who walked with us. But to say, I want to make a change, it takes courage. I had a teacher, I got tons of stories, but I had a teacher at Norview High School. I should probably be in one of the yearbooks. I got suspended 5 times one year, and they were all related to advocacy. I got suspended if somebody came to me and said the teacher didn't listen to me when I said somebody was cheating off of my paper. I was going to that classroom and I was causing disruptions throughout the hallways and in the buildings, and it got to the point where Mr. Delk, who was the disciplinary specialist, he knew my family. He called one of my aunts. He said, we are going to put your niece out if she gets suspended one more time. And I did. I ended up having to go to Lake Teller. But I had to be courageous to do any of that. And that's not always easy as young people. So having people in your life who say to you, I support you, you can do this. Community. Like, this is a beautiful example of what community looks like. But understanding that with community, it takes collaboration. That we are not designed to exist individually and as an island. Like, no major change is going to occur if we try to do it independently. And I know sometimes it gets discouraging when, like, I want to see change. I want to see something happen. I want to disrupt this system. This is a system that's been operating this way for centuries and is just not fair. And we cannot do it alone. I say that to my daughter oftentimes. She is the only woman of color in the law firm she's practicing in Maryland. And every day she tells me a story of how she's treated, of how she feels. And I tell her, it's not you can fight in different ways. You may not be the one who's meant to, like, completely uproot all these years of injustice within this system. But you can write about it. And your writing can go to other women who are experiencing, other women of color who are walking into corporate America being the only person of color. Your writing can inspire women right now. So finding the way that you are going to collaborate and utilize community to advocate for those issues and then become an activist. And then the T is for time frame. Change takes time. And so understanding that we won't just naturally say, I want to see Black history incorporated into the SOLs and expect that it happens overnight. And a lot of times with us, like people say, like we are a microwave society. We want things to just happen. Like the minute I say I want it to happen, I need change to take place. But creating a time frame and being realistic about it. Like before this year is over, as a young person, I want to see my history teacher teaching me about some of the most famous women from the Civil Rights Movement, for an example. I don't want Black history to be limited to Black History Month, for an example. Maybe I can start a Black Culture Club. Just maybe. I can do something like that. And that takes time. So understanding that it doesn't happen automatically, young people, there needs to be a time frame. So you say, before the year is out, I want a Black Culture Club established at my school. And I want a safe place where we can learn about our Black history. Training. So there's some things we want to fight against and don't really understand how to fight against it. And so sometimes we have to invest in the training that is necessary. Like, have always admired the Black Panther Party, but I would need training to come out and partner with you all. Like, for real, you're going to have to really train me and help me get prepared to do that. If that's my area of activism. It may not even be my area, but whatever it is that we desire to stand up for and fight for or against, having the proper training, even if it means going to the library and picking up the free book about that topic. So when you're out there advocating and fighting for it, you know what you're talking about, because people are going to test you, and people, of course, are going to say, that's not like Brother Duran, you know what he was doing, trying to test me. And then this is the last one for T. Having talking points so that your message is consistent and you're not everywhere and all over the place, because people are more prone to support you if they know that you have a solid foundation that you're standing on. And so these are the three things. We just can't change everything and handle everything, even with the community, even with strong collaborations. So establishing a few talking points. Like, if there's something in your school that you want to see done, you sit around and you think about the people in your circle and even outside of your circle who you can say, listen, aren't you tired of that nasty grilled cheese sandwich? Because the bread is thick and the cheese is thick. Aren't you tired of that? And if somebody says yes, so then let's start writing letters to the cafeteria manager and say, we would love it if maybe we didn't have to eat. Now, it's not going to stop with the cafeteria manager because it has to be approved from food services downtown, but that's where you can start. But every letter that you write or every person that you bring aboard, these are the three things we want to change. We want to see healthier alternatives for our lunch. We want to see fresh fruits and vegetables instead of those little fruit packs. And we want to see healthy chips in our cafeteria. And those are our three talking points. And every time we talk to a teacher who we want to come and align with us, we are saying, these are the three things we're trying to do. Will you collaborate with us? Will you be a part of our community? And then every letter that you write. So before I walk away and take my seat, I want to thank you all for allowing me to stand before you. But I want to ask, thank you. I want to ask everybody, so what are some simple, practical ways that we can, and there's a difference between advocacy and activism. But what are some practical ways that we can serve in either capacity? Like right now, we see a problem with, we'll use mental health, maybe in our schools, or maybe in our classrooms. If that's the issue, what are some practical ways that anybody who's really concerned about mental health could begin to address those issues? Just one. Give me one, Josh.
We like try to be supportive with them.
Okay, that's a good place to start. You can start by just being supportive. What's another way, sister? Wait a minute. No, yes.
Schools have what's called a parent advocate.
Yes.
So you can volunteer to be a parent advocate, not just for your child, but every child.
That's good. That's good. Taran.
Try and actually understand them.
Okay. So you can support them, you can listen, try to understand them. You can volunteer as a parent advocate, which takes training.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Some schools even have peer advocates.
That's good. Peer advocates. What else? Anybody else?
Spread awareness in the community.
Spread awareness in the community. Thank you.
Workshops.
Workshops. Awesome. So it's not just, there are many ways. So if you're not the person who wants to stand up, or if you're not the person who wants to get behind a podium or a microphone, understanding that there are many, many ways that you can use your voice, you can stand up, and you can fight for whatever things you see, for injustice, to facilitate reform, to disrupt systems, to make changes. Yes, ma'am.
Well, myself, I have a part